welcome back to the RC barn. If I can get in the camera in here. There we go. Anyways, wish Annabelle a happy 13th birthday today.
Yay!
Yay. And, but anyways, on this episode with Annabelle's 16-year radio here, we're going to get started on radio installation. So, what we have here is a Turnigy 6-channel radio that we're going to install. She got this for free at the National Fun Fly last year. It came with a receiver and all that. It should be plenty good for this. And like stated earlier, we're going to be using these Metal Gear minis from Value Hobby. They are the HD 1250 MGs. If you're interested in them, they were like $8 a piece. They're like 70-inch ounces of torque, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yep, and they can work off of 4, 8, or 6 volt. Like I said, not a super big time radio, but you know they do get you down here. They do work, seem to work okay. So, anyways, well, that's what we're gonna get done today. Is get the servos installed. We're gonna use spruce sticks. We got them laid out here. We'll have to cut the tabs off. I do not believe, I'll have to look up the directions on this radio, but I'm fairly certain it ain't got a servo reversing in it. So this is gonna be old school. We're gonna have to make sure we have enough room on both sides of the servo, because without servo reversing, you know, you gotta use one side of the servo or the other to make sure you're getting the correct output to the so that'll be up. So it's gonna, if we do this and it's on the bottom, that'll be down. So we got to use this side for the elevator, so it's pushing on it for up. And then because we're setting it up for 3-channel, I always put my rudder on the aileron side, so that way it makes it a little easier to fly, because you're not trying to fly with the 2 sticks. So that's left. So yeah, they'll have to go on this side, and then the throttle will have to go probably over here to push it open. I'll have to check on that. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll get you on time lapse, and we'll get things rolling here. So, anyways. All right, so we've gotten some progress here done. We went ahead and we took out the junk wood that was in there for the horns and went ahead and added some scrap in here on the elevator and rudder. I'm going to use some half-A Dubro control horns here. You know, that way we got a place to mount that too. See? I know it's a little big, but it doesn't matter. And then off camera here, we found another piece of broken wood here. So Annabelle's going to go ahead and fix that. The way you do that is you get rid of the old wood that she's doing now with a knife. And then you cut this to length. And this has got a taper to it. So we'll have to draw the taper in there and cut that piece out and then slide it into place and glue it in. And then sand it to fit. I think we've already replaced a few pieces in here. So anyways, we're going to do that on camera. And then next up, I think we're going to start covering the elevator and the rudder. I am going to use Sig Easy hinges for hinges on this. So we'll do that after the fact, after it's all covered. And then, yeah, on our way to getting her done. We'll bring it back when we got more to show you. All right, so we got pretty much everything sanded here. Got everything added where we need it to be, so we are ready for covering. Now, if you are new to covering or whatnot, this is going to probably be a pretty decent tutorial because I'm going to be showing her how to cover her plane. So I can explain to her while I'm explaining to you, vice versa. So anyways, the biggest thing we want is a clean and work surface. And if you've ever seen me cover, I always cut on the glass so that way, you know, it doesn't dull up the knife blade as fast. So get yourself a nice sharp knife blade. Make sure your area is pretty dust free, and make sure you have your design in mind. So we've been sitting here going over it, and we're going to go white fuselage, white rudder, and fin. And then we're going to spin that around to blue rudder or blue elevator stabilizer and a blue wing. And then on the blue part, like the wing and the elevator, we're going to make them look the same with a white stripe across the front. And then on the wing or on the fuselage, we're going to put a blue stripe across it. To be determined what it's going to look like, but at least we can get some covering started. We are using neucover. I've heard some pretty good things about it. We got our metallic blue here and the white. So I'm going to go ahead and start measuring this up. We always measure so we're not wasting. I need a tape measure. One thing I didn't grab yet. So anyways, I'm going to treat this like covering. I read the directions as little as they are. It's kind of comical how small the directions are. And it says adhesion to wood begins at 280 to 300 and shrinkage starts at 320. So we're going to start with our elevator here with, so it's 7 1/4. See? We want to overlap, so we're going to go 8. Okay, you always go big because it's going to shrink up.
Obviously.
So I'll measure out a piece here 8 inches and say I go one side. Check the other since it's longer. Check this out.
You went higher on this
I know.
side.
I think that would be perfect.
And make sure that
Pretty close there. And we'll take our knife and
cut it.
I mean, the one thing I'm getting the feeling of over Monaco right now is how thin this stuff is. This stuff is super thin. I mean, you just feel how thin it is. And while we were pulling the tape off that holds it together, it ripped. So it's going to be a pretty thin base. So this might be of interest to you micro guys, how thin this stuff is. Of course, the heat might be something different. So anyways, we'll lay this out. And what we're looking for is we want a decent overlap around here and around here. So we'll pull it a little more this way. That's pretty good. And then anyways, what I always do is I fill the center, it's right there. See? You don't want to push, you want to guide. And see, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but see all these little circles? It's too hot. So we're going to calm the temperature down to, let's go to 234. We'll let this sit for a minute. But it goes on. I mean, but this stuff isn't going to, biggest thing with how thin this is it's not going to put up too much abuse for, flying it if you have an oopsie and landed in a cornfield, you're going to tear the hell out of it. That's the first thing I noticed about it's just how thin this stuff is. So let's see if that works any better. That looks a little better. We're still a little on the hot side. I'm going to cool it down a little bit more. So Fahrenheit is white. So that was at 280, and that's way too hot. So we'll let it sit here for a minute, and then I'll let Annabelle take a crack at it. So the other thing is pull in the direction that you want to cover. That's much better. See, don't back yourself into a corner. And since this is an open structure, you're going to go a little bit. And see if I do this and I go straight up, well, I just back myself into a corner. So go. See, just work yourself left to right or right to left, up and down. And if you need to, you can pull on it to get any wrinkles out or creases or anything like that. Mm-hmm. See, sometimes I'll grab this up like this, and I'm putting my fingers up against the balsa, and I can pull, stretch it out a little bit. You can always do this technique too. If it's really wrinkly like that, don't worry about it. It should come out with a heat gun.
Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say, is that
Just
cool?
don't want any. See, I'm not really pushing down because I got all these open areas.
Yeah, you can accidentally tear it open.
And see, I'm just working to one, like I'm going to work myself to one corner here. Okay. Yeah, I'm about 200 degrees to put this down, and that seems to be a good temperature because it's not shrinking it yet. It's still baggy, and we don't want it to shrink. We just want it to. We're just activating the glue to adhere it down. And if you start to notice where it's not adhering down a lot, be careful. That's hot. Just hold on to the handle. So if you notice that it's like not sticking down too much, you see that's got a pretty good hold on it. Okay, so just like I did here now, grab it here, grab it with your left hand or whatever, and pull on it and try to get the wrinkles out.
Okay.
If you screw up, don't worry about it. We got plenty more to. So wish her good luck. She's covered before, but not to this extent.
I'm not this-handed.
Well then, turn this around. And
there.
Is that more comfortable?
Yes.
No,
I don't know what to do.
Well, you start here where it's already adhered. like this. Okay. You give it a little bit. You see there's a stick here. Don't let it set up. Just hold it down on the ground. You know. And then anyways, and then you come over here and do the same. And you're pulling towards one corner. See? And see, and that's actually starting to not adhere as good, so we might have to increase the temp just a little bit. Work back and forth. Go a little bit, come over here and do a little more where you stop. See where you stop? Now you got a brace here. I can see it, see?
Yeah.
So do your brace.
What does that mean?
Well, come across here and do your brace. See, you're starting to get a little, and that's where you would pull this and go ahead. I think we're a little too cool there. Go up a little bit.
Be like that.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see, you're pretty flat through this whole thing, so just keep working it this way. Work to one of your corners. And don't push, just guide, glide. Yeah, wait a minute. Why does it stop? Let's see here. Wait. Let's try that. That's better. Yeah, it's getting better.
Okay.
So you're not doing anything. You're not. See what I mean by the adhesion? You're not doing much. It's because the temperature is too cool. We're just trying a new product, so we got to get a feel for where it's going to be happy at.
Yeah.
We know straight up and down it's too hot because we made a bunch of blisters. And see, now you see you gotta did that because you're not adhering. You're adhering too far down, and you're not pulling right. See. So you can work these wrinkles out just by pulling on different areas. See. I work over here. And now I got another brace there, so I come back over here and get this. And then get the brace. See? And I'm pulling on that thing the whole time. Stretches out quite a bit. I bet this stuff's going to be lovely to work around curves. Come up here. And if you've never covered before, just remember you're not gonna win any prizes your first time out. You're gonna have creases. You're gonna have wrinkles that you're not gonna be able to pull out with heat. You know, but the biggest thing is just to make sure it's covered is the first and foremost.
I'm scared if I will burn myself.
Well, you could just don't quit picking it up. You're fine. And knowing what you can get out and what you can't.
You help me. I can't get that corner. I'm scared if I burn myself.
You just gotta go in here and do it. You don't have to pull right down to the corner. Once you get to a certain point, see, we'll go over the whole thing and make sure we're nice and flat. So the next thing we're gonna do, once you get all this done, I usually start with my least amount of area, and we'll work this edge over.
Yeah.
So what you can do is, like when you're sanding, you can start in the middle here and just roll the edge.
I hate sanding.
Now the shoe, of the covering iron. Almost every covering iron I ever used raises up here, so you're only working from here to here. So once you get part of that down, just move up to the next section here and curve it around. Curve it around. And this I am pushing a little bit to get it to curve over. So here you can do the next section. What you gotta do is just keep it flat and then curve. And then move back and curve. It's the easiest way to do those, finish those edges off. Just move back a little bit. You move back a little more than that. That's okay.
Oops.
You do what you want to do. There you go. Right to the end. Okay. So the next thing is this is where the scissors come in, and we want to you want a 1/4 inch of overlap. Well, this is a 1/4 inch piece of wood. This is where I like using scissors at, because
This is where you
we want to wrap it up the front and down the side a little bit. So
I'm good at this.
we can do two things here. We
So
can,
good at this.
I'll show you the way that I like to do it the most. And what I'll do is I'll cut
I
this.
also do that.
I'll cut this and this, so I got where my taper starts, so that way it folds over. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to this side that we did to the back.
I do this all the time.
So go ahead and just wrap it right over. Make sure you're not keeping it square. Flat, and then flat. Okay,
Oh,
see what I mean?
flat. Flat.
And don't hit this. You want to leave that. Okay, we'll do the other end. You can start.
I didn't get this good. Oh, wait.
It's okay. Do that section. I would start in the middle and work your way out. I know this question comes up from time to time about adding secondary colors, once you get it covered. I like to do my stripes afterwards, so that way they're just cosmetic, they're not doing anything. On an open structure like this, you could, and I've seen guys do it, add your stripe and then, adhere it down to the first color before you put it on the wood. I've never done it. I don't see much thing there. So anyways, now that we got it adhered to the top front, what we're going to do is we're going to run the scissors across here, and we're just going to give ourselves, the scissors give us enough, there's enough distance here in the scissors that it'll give us a nice overlap, and you won't see the overlap as much. So what I do, Annabelle, is I find a sweet spot here in the scissors, see, and then you just push.
Yeah, I know. I do this all the time with my mom.
Go ahead and do the other side. And I always keep my spare pieces over to the side. That's one thing I like about it is it's very, very easy to tell what side has the glue on it. It's very dull on the glue side. You want a straight cut. You don't want to, there you go. You're almost too close to the wood. but that's fine. Just keep going right on to the end. See how easy that is to tear?
Yeah,
Now
but
that could have been bad, but we got enough covering there.
I couldn't find the spot.
So anyways, just take and run the covering iron and finish your overlap here on just these two pieces here. There you go. Okay.
Oh.
Happy with that? Let's see. It's not bad. You got some whiskers here though. So anyways, just make sure you got everything nice down. And I mean, if you have any wrinkles, it is what it is at this point. So anyways, we got that much done. So then we can do the same on this side. We can do.
Oh, that's easy.
See?
That looks easy.
Go ahead and wrap that side around too. Because we don't have that much overhang, you just we won't have to trim anything off. I think you got a little more to do there, see? Bring it flat up against the wood. There you go. Okay, so next thing we'll do is we'll wrap our corners. Now we don't need that much here, but what I like to do, I'll take a knife. When I want it to be close, I use a knife. When I don't want it to be close, I use the scissors. That's my technique. So we'll cut down here because we want it to be close. Okay. And then we'll take anything that's folded over that's got an edge to it, we're going to take and and cut it so it flattens out. Like that, see? So these, like this one, you're gonna go across here and down.
I do this with my masks. I know.
Quit being smart. You need to grab a hold of this so you can cut it and not just bend it.
Do it right here. Can you hold this, please?
I do it by myself.
What?
Okay. So then
Careful.
we're just gonna rinse and repeat, and you're just gonna bring it up to this edge here.
But just the edge?
Yep, just to this edge, not up here. Not yet. You know, and do the other side. I'll probably fast forward this in the video because it's already 25 minutes long. Or maybe I won't.
I mean, you should do like
A little bit of it.
Yeah.
Normal speed, normal time lapse it. So then I'll just
like now, every time you talk, you speed it or you don't speed it up. You stop the speed up.
See. Okay. You try to do the other side and make it straight like that, not jagged like that.
sorry I couldn't find the sweet spot.
Well, give yourself some room. I mean, and try to make it straight. You know, you don't need a huge overlap. I mean, not that it really matters a whole lot, but you need to quit trying to grab this and grab that, and use your arm to flatten it out. See? Okay, and give yourself a little bit of room in there. Now, what I usually do is like you're left with little bits like that. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah.
What I do is I rewrap it back across itself. And then these corners we'll just push and pray is what I call it. You know, they usually don't come out too bad, and they're so small anyways that it doesn't matter. Now see there it's trying to curl over. Let's make sure it's not trying to curl over too much. It's not too bad. It's a little thin for my liking. I'll probably use it again, but I will also keep in mind that, you know, I'm not going to put this stuff on any very very fast or highly aerobatic planes yeah, we'll see how it holds up. But anyways, we got that. Now we don't need this part here because it gets butted up against the front of the fuselage. So all we're going to do is trim this back, and then we'll wrap what little bits there. There we go. Now you don't start shrinking your covering until the whole thing's done. So let's cut another piece, and we'll get the backside done. Or the top, this is the top. What do we need? What, 8 inches?
Yeah.
Tape measure. I'll grab the knife. Make sure it's kind of close there. Good. Okay, again.
Is it good?
Yeah, no, this is awkward. Left hand here.
I know.
And you just guide. You don't need to push, you just guide. You stay at an angle. Because if you start getting in here, see how it's away?
Yeah.
You want to be right in that nook.
Okay.
But you got to put downward pressure. Now, the harder you push, the harder you got to push down on that because it will move. It's slippery. Start on one end, see, you already moved it. Oh. You're pushing too hard. It's a guide. It's not a fence. Make one continuous. Just keep going. Spread your arm out. There you go. Don't say that if you go all the way through. No. Here. Let me try. Okay. Now you need to try to peel this off. See it in there?
Yeah.
Good. Can be aggravating sometimes. There, give me that. Try not to touch it with the iron because that thing's going to be hot. Now, the biggest thing that you got to remember is that we had an oopsie back here, remember?
Yeah.
Right there. So you got to make sure you got enough of an overlap to cover this up. So I would favor the back side. Now, it doesn't matter how much you favor left or right. You can come right over here and do this, or you can center it, whatever you want to do. But you want to bring it back enough. that it's going to get all the way down across there. See, we got it. That's pretty good. You see, we got a pretty good overlap there. So I would tack it. Here's your center right here. Between my fingertips, just tack it down. Yeah. Okay. Go up and down the middle there. There you go. Biggest thing is slow down a little bit.
Go slow.
It's not really sticking down.
Yeah.
I think we just need a little bit more heat. I can see this stuff being a little tricky with the heat.
Some parts like the heat, some parts don't.
So there we go. Now you got good adhesion. You can see it. It's warm. Okay, I'm not helping. It's all on you. And remember, every time somebody walks up to your airplane and looks at it, they're going to see this because this is the top.
Why are you bullying me already?
I'm not bullying you. I'm just telling you, try to do a nice job.
Can you at least point out if I'm doing something wrong?
No, you need to figure it out. I've told you everything you need to know about covering. Let's see how she does, huh, guys? Remember, just work top to bottom, left to right. You can go a little bit, you can go a lot. Now see, you're backing yourself into a corner right there. Because you didn't go all the way over to that spar. You weren't ready to do that yet.
I thought you weren't going to help me.
I'm not going to let you screw it up, Annabelle. Let's see, it's getting a little baggy, so you might want to pull it a little bit. I don't know how well this stuff's going to shrink. We're going to find out in a minute, though. There you go. Just remember, it's like welding. I mean, you got to be comfortable. You got any welders out there? You gotta, take your time, and you gotta see what the covering's doing. You gotta work with it. And I don't expect Annabelle to do oh my God, good job the first time she's ever covered a whole piece of an airplane before. There you go. Just a little bit at a time. Just start working the wrinkles out. Yep, you should have kept going all the way to the corner.
I'm scared if I burn you.
It's not going to burn you.
Yes, it is.
Let go of it and hold on to the other side with your hand. There you go. We'll make it work. I'll see you got a wrinkle. Well, it's not a wrinkle, it's a fold. Because you went too fast. You didn't bring this end up to the other end. Maybe you can get it out. Try that.
Watch your finger.
It's fine. Just go right up to it. Hold it there for a second. No release. Okay, let's see.
It looks good to me.
Yeah, it don't look bad. I think that'll shrink out. Yeah, do the other side.
Awesome.
Yep. Don't forget to run your stringers either as you come to them. See, there's one right there.
Yeah, I see it.
There you go. Now you're getting the hang of it. So the biggest thing with covering is first it's protection against the fuel that this engine is going to be burning. So you want 1/4 inch or better gap or better overlaps between your seams. You want to start at the bottom and work your way to the top. I mean, if this was the wing, we'd be doing it exactly the same way. We'd cover the bottom, wrap it over, and then cover the top and go that way. Okay. And you always want to put your seams backwards. So that means like, okay, if you got a fuselage that's really long and you got to do it in two pieces, do your tail first and then do your front. So that way that seam is pointed backwards and the covering won't get underneath of it. I always said the main purpose of the covering is to, one, provide aerodynamics in an open structured airplane like this. Number two is to protect the wood from balsa soaking, and then the last and final reason is to try to make it look pretty. The third reason is no reason to if it doesn't look right, it's still going to fly fine. And if you follow those simple little procedures that I just laid out with seams to the back, wrap your seams, have a 1/4 inch overlap at minimum. You can go 1/2 inch if you want to, which is kind of a waste of material. And wrap things around, make sure all your balsa is covered. That's your main function. With doing planes over and over again and covering multiple planes, that's where you're going to start seeing, I can do this different, or I can do that different, or I can pick up this little tip and I can make it look a little better. Okay, it looks nice. That's fine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do,
I did it all by my own.
it's the only thing I really do different from top to bottom is now I got the top. She's got the top all covered out. The only oops that we got is back here where it got ripped at. So we'll wrap the back around and then we'll do it the same as the bottom. But as far as the top goes, we can take our scissors. And you don't want to be right up against it. You want to be a little way of it, okay? You want to leave enough just to get around the corner, see? So something like that. Okay. So what I want you to do is do the same to this side over here, and then I want you to wrap this like you did the top, and then we'll cut it and finish it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're pushing too hard. That's thin stuff. You just gotta, and make sure you leave a gap here.
I just found this.
There you go.
Yay.
Okay, so go ahead and do this end here and wrap it around. And delete some stuff off the screen here. Using the laptop to film this. Nope, this works from one corner to the next.
That's what I'm doing. Okay. Hello.
What?
I did it.
Okay. Well, it's the same as before. Just keep going. You gotta wrap all this over.
Okay.
I do my edges first, and then I work on my tips. I was gonna call them wing tips, but yeah, just your tips. Just remember, you don't need anything up here because we got a glue surface there. We can cut it away later. See, I got a lot more overlap than you did. It's okay, but more is better.
Yes.
Okay, so she's got all that done. And we got this back here. Now this ain't a lot to trim off, but I think we should just. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same as the leading edge, and I'm just going to cut it away. And I'm going to leave enough to where I can fold it over. See? See? I'm going to put a little slice right here. So you can do the same on that side. And then I think instead of just cutting that, I think you just keep going all the way over with it. It'll just give us more of an overlap if she goes all the way around. Remember, this is the top, so we won't see the bottom. Yep, that's good right there. Then go ahead and slice your corner right there.
Yeah, I don't.
It can't hurt to give it a little cut there. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So go ahead and bring your corners, your tips up. Yep. No matter how you get it done.
That way.
Oh, your tips. This guy right here.
Wow.
Yeah, bring that whole tip over. Stay away from this. I'm talking about the end here.
I know.
Where we cut it. Okay, now take this and let it come around like that. See how it wants to come around. And do your other corner, the other tip. Same way.
Did you cut that?
I don't know if I did that wrong. Probably did. See, this is why we cut it. See, it's formed into a cone shape. So if you slice it right in the middle, then it'll flatten out and it won't create a, I don't know what you want to call it, a crease. Creases are the worst. That's in my opinion.
It took, you know,
So why don't you, instead of worry about that, get that.
like how?
Just push it down. There you go.
Like it's a little present.
There you go. That's good. Now do this. I'm gonna get. We'll get out. Sorry, did I get you?
No, I just backed up.
That's pretty good. You got a couple little. Let's say if you get little things like this where, just slice it.
Slice and dice.
Yeah. See, and now you won't have a crease there. See?
Let me.
Yep. Just push it up and over. You'll get the other one too. Gotta get that. Anyways, before you start covering, you got to make sure you got everything down. See? So you got a little bit of a whoopsie there. See? So we'll just cut that. No. Because as the stuff shrinks, it's going to pull harder and harder. Do those. Okay. That looks pretty good. You got that right there to deal with. Let's see. Sometimes you can do that. And just cut the excess off. Okay. I'm going to blow dry one side. The biggest thing with blow drying, especially when you're dealing with new covering, is to make sure that you're not overheating it because you'll put a hole in it right now. So I'm going to start high and stay away from it, you know, and just start heating it up a little bit just to see how it's going to react.
Oh, I see it.
See?
That's cool.
It isn't taking much to shrink this stuff. It really is going fast.
I'll go farther up more. That's cool.
It is taking, it ain't taking much.
It looks so like
And
there's like
it's
no
not that
wrinkles in
hot,
it.
so and it's tight. Okay, you do the other side. And the reason why we cover the whole thing, almost way up here, so keep that in mind. It's hot. This gets hot. The reason why we do both sides before we shrink is because the one side will help it, and it won't. Okay. See? Nice and slow. Follow it around. There you go. We're going to have to hit this area a little higher. You got to keep moving it too. Yeah, and you can see the wrinkles just coming right out of it. You can follow them around as it shrinks. Okay. Let me see if I can get this a little bit more right here.
That feels weird.
Yeah, it's not taking much to shrink this stuff down. So very, very fast heat settings, but man, it looks nice. Yeah.
I like it.
Not hardly a wrinkle in there. Good job.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everything out. I mean, we could try to get that little bit out there. Yeah, this stuff it reacts super fast. So I would imagine wouldn't take much heat to put a hole in it. So the next thing that I like to do is I'll crank the heat up on my gauge a little bit here. We'll go like just a little hotter than what we use to apply it. And I do this after I shrink everything. And the reason why is because I think you get a better grip on it and you're heating the glue up a little bit more. And all I do is I just go around the circumference of it. Okay. I'll see that. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. You didn't quite sand enough there. Just got a little bit of wood.
It's fine. It's not that obvious.
It's not obvious, but it's, to us, it's noticeable. So we'll do that, and then anybody want to do the other side?
Sure.
Yeah, just go nice and slow.
I can feel that, like melt, kind of.
Yeah, there's a feeling to it. You can feel it.
Oh, that's hot.
Don't sit too much.
I'm trying not to.
Let's see if there's another one right there. That's why I said everything shows up. Okay, now I see one little area here that you could get down a little more. See it right there? And you just want to double check and make sure everything's tight and sealed down, because every little gap that you have, if you have something not adhered right, that's a starting point for it to come off. I mean, that looks pretty good.
I like it. It's pretty.
That looks better, a lot better than it did when we started.